The sky above the alien city is dark and full of strange stars. Thousands of voices rise from the great arena in the heart of the capital. The crowd is shouting the name of their champion. He is big, he is strong, he is the pride of their empire. 10 feet tall, skin like stone, eyes like fire. He stands in the center of the arena and lifts his heavy blade on. The other side of the arena stands a human small in size, wearing broken armor, holding a simple steel sword. His eyes are calm, his hands steady. He does not speak, he only watches. The alien crowd laughs at him. They call him weak. They say he will die in one blow, but the human says nothing. High above the arena sits the Empress. She is proud, beautiful. Her skin shines like metal. Her crown is sharp like her voice. Beside her stand her royal maids dressed in silk, eyes full of fear and pride. They watch as their champion prepares to fight. They believe in him. They believe he cannot lose. A loud horn sounds. The fight begins. The alien champion roars and runs forward. The ground shakes under his feet. He lifts his sword high into the air. The human waits. He does not move. He watches every step, every breath, every mistake. Then, in a flash, the human moves. He ducks. He slides forward. One clean swing. His sword cuts through the alien's armor, cuts through muscle, through bone. The champion falls, his body split in half from shoulder to hip. Silence fills the arena. No one can speak, no one can move. The Empress stands in shock. Her strongest warrior is dead, killed in seconds by a human. Her law is clear. The champion was fighting in her name and by the ancient law of her empire. The victor now owns the loser's title and his line. The crowd does not cheer. They do not know what to do. They have never seen this happen, never seen one of their own fall like this. Not to a human, not in their holy arena. The Empress stands slowly, her face hard, her eyes locked on the human. She walks down the royal steps. Her long robe flows like water behind her. She stands before him. She is tall, but not taller than the truth. She is lost, and the law does not bend. She speaks in a quiet voice. You have won. By law, you now claim my line. You now own me and all those tied to my blood, my maids, my honor, my name. The human looks at her. He does not smile. He does not speak. He simply nods. He turns and walks away, leaving the body of the champion behind, leaving the Empress to kneel in her own arena before a man she called weak. The maids follow slowly, fear in their hearts, confusion in their steps. They are not sure what to expect. They do not know if they will be punished or spared. The human says nothing. He walks through the gates, and the crowd parts for him like waves in the sea. That night the city is quiet. Torches burn low. The palace halls are cold and silent. The human sits alone. He sharpens his blade. The Empress sits in another room, her hands in her lap, her head down, her mind full of war and shame and something else she does not yet understand. Outside, the people whisper. They speak of the human. They call him many names: monster, ghost, champion, but none say it loud because something deep inside them knows this is not the end. This is only the beginning. The human did not come to win. He came for something else, something the Empress will soon learn, something hidden beneath his silence and behind his sword. He came not just to survive, not just to fight, but to take back power, to rewrite the rules of the stars. And tonight in the arena of champions, the stars have changed. Asterisk. The palace stands tall under the pale light of twin moons. Its towers reach into the sky like frozen spears. Inside the stone walls, the silence is heavy like wet cloth. No music, no laughter, only the sound of footsteps echoing through empty marble halls. The Empress walks slowly through her own throne room. Her robe drags behind her like a trail of defeat. Her eyes no longer shine. Her lips do not speak. She walks past the thrones of her ancestors, past the banners of her victories. She does not look at them. She reaches her private chamber. She closes the door without a sound. She sits on the edge of a silver couch. Her fingers grip the edge tightly. Her back remains straight, but her soul bends. Her maids stand near the door, three of them, all silent, all watching her but not daring to speak. They too wear royal silk, but tonight the silk feels like chains. The law is clear. They now belong to the human who defeated their Empress in the sacred arena. No voice can break that law, no crown can lift it away. One maid takes a slow step forward. She is the youngest, barely older than a girl. Her voice trembles as she speaks. What will happen to us? The Empress does not answer. She looks out the window. She watches the stars move slowly across the dark sky. Another room across the palace. The human sits in silence. He has been given a chamber meant for honored guests. He does not touch the food. He does not sit on the soft chair. He stands near the window. His sword is beside him, always beside him. He remembers the faces of those who once stood with him. He remembers earth. He remembers fire in the sky. He remembers screams. He remembers betrayal. His hands close into fists, but he does not cry. His tears dried long ago. Only the mission remains now, only the quiet road to something more than victory. The door behind him opens without warning. A royal guard stands there with fear in his voice. The Empress calls for you. The human says nothing. He takes his sword and walks without a word. The throne room is still cold. The Empress stands alone now. The maids have been sent away. The human walks to the center and stops. He waits. He does not bow. She looks at him with eyes full of fire and ice. You have taken everything. She says this with poison on her tongue, but the human does not reply. You could have killed me. You could have claimed my crown, but you only took what the law gave you. Why? The human walks forward slowly. He stands close to her, closer than any enemy ever has. His voice is soft. I came here with nothing. I leave with nothing, but I will take what justice allows. The Empress lifts her chin. Is this justice? You humiliated me before my people. You made me bow to a lesser being. You made me a slave in my own house. The human shakes his head slowly. I did nothing. You did not write into your own law. Your champion fought. Your law spoke. I simply listened. Her hands clench into fists, but she does not strike. She is not a fool. She knows this man is dangerous in ways her generals could never be. She turns her back to him and speaks again. My people whisper in the dark. They fear you. They hate you. They wonder if you are truly human or something else. The human steps back. I do not need them to understand, only to remember that we bleed to, that we rise to, that we fight when no one expects it. She closes her eyes. For the first time in her life she feels small, not in body but in soul. He leaves her there standing in the light of her own failure. He does not smile, he does not gloat. He walks away like a storm fading into the night. The maids wait for him at the edge of the hall. They lower their heads. One speaks with shaking lips. Do you wish us to follow? He looks at them. He sees the fear. He sees the shame. He sees what power has done to their lives. You may follow if you choose. I will not force you. I do not need servants. I need truth. The maids look at one another. Their world has turned upside down. Their empress has been broken, their fate handed to a stranger, but in his voice they hear no cruelty, only tired strength. Slowly, one by one, they following the shadows above. The empress watches them leave. Her face unreadable, her hands cold, her breath deep and silent. Tonight, she does not sleep. She sits in the dark surrounded by golden walls, remembering the sound of her champion falling in half, and the quiet voice of the man who took her world apart with only one strike. The night is long, and the stars above the alien palace burn cold and sharp like watching eyes inside. The walls of stone and gold. The human walks alone through a garden that does not feel alive. Tall silver trees rise around him. The leaves glow. Faint blue, they make no sound when the wind moves. If this place has a heart, it does not beat for him. The human moves without hurry. His steps are light but sure. He walks past fountains that hold no water, past statues of warriors from long dead wars. He sees their faces strong, proud, unbroken, but they are only stone behind him. He hears a soft sound, a footstep, careful, nervous. He turns and sees one of the maids, the same one who first spoke to him, the youngest, the one whose hands always trembled. She lowers her head. I did not mean to follow. I only saw you leave. And she stops, words failing her. He nods slowly. You are not a prisoner. You walk where you choose. Her eyes rise a little. She studies his face. It holds no anger, no joy, only stillness. They walk together now past flowers that bloom only at night. She looks up at the sky and then at him. You are not like the others we fought. You move different. You carry no hate, but there is something inside you like fire hidden in ice. The human says nothing at first. He lets the silence sit between them like fog. Then he speaks. Where I come from, we had stories of stars and peace. We built tall cities and reached for the sky, but the sky was not empty. Your empire came first as shadows, then as fire. The maid listens, her breath quiet, her steps even. He continues. Your ships fell from orbit and took everything. Cities turned to ash, voices silenced. We begged, we sent peace calls. Your empress sent warriors. He stops near a black pool. It shows his reflection, but the face he sees feels like someone else. I was a soldier then, not by choice. I fought because someone had to, and when they caught me, they did not kill me. They studied me, cut me open, tried to understand why I would not die easy. Maid covers her mouth with one hand, her eyes wide. She looks away, shame in her chest, but the human does not ask for pity. He needs none. He sits on a stone bench and closes his eyes. Every scar on his body is a memory, not of pain, but of silence, the kind that lives in bones. She sits beside him, close but not too close. She speaks again. The empress did not want this war. I heard her once. She argued with the council. They said humans were weak, that we would not fight, that we were better gone than feared. He does not answer. He only listens, but his jaw tightens. His fingers curl around the edge of the bench. The maid's voice drops lower. There is something you should see. Not now, but soon. It may change how you see her. He looks at her, not with anger, not with hope, but with weight, like someone who has lost too much to believe in change. She rises, then pauses before she leaves. She turns to him once more. You walk like a man who has lost his name, but I think it still waits for you somewhere. Behind all the blood, she disappears into the trees, leaving him alone with the stars. In the highest tower of the palace, the empress sits at a table made of crystal. She stares at an old object wrapped in silk. She unwraps it slowly. Inside is a metal tag, old human, marked with letters and numbers. She holds it like a ghost. Her fingers run across the surface. She remembers a face, a man she once saved, a man she once loved before the war. Before the laws, the tag once belonged to him, the human she met long ago, the one who died before she became empress. And now another stands in her palace with the same eyes, the same silence. She wonders if fate has brought him, or if guilt has built this future from bone. She hides the tag again, seals it in a box of dark glass. She cannot let him see it. Not yet. Outside, the wind moves through the silver trees. The human stands still, his eyes on the stars. His breath slow. Tomorrow will bring more than silence, more than war. He does not know yet, but something buried is about to rise, and when it does, everything will change. The palace breathes quietly as morning breaks through the crimson sky. Light pours in through stained glass windows that cast long shadows across polished stone. The Empress stands in her private chamber with her back to the door. She has not slept. Her eyes do not close. Her hands do not shake. But inside her mind is a storm she cannot silence. A table in front of her lies the sealed box of dark glass. It holds something that no one in the Empire is meant to see, not even the council, not even her royal guards, not even the maids who dress her and fear her and serve her in silence. She opens the box inside. The metal tag rests like a whisper from the past, a human name etched deep, a serial number, a bloodstain that never faded. She remembers the day she took it long ago, before she became Empress. Before the war turned her voice into steel and her heart into a fortress, he was a scout, a lost human in alien space, captured by her father's ships, but she had hidden him, protected him, listened to him speak about his world, about oceans and music and sunrises that did not burn red. They were young, foolish, brave, and then the council found out. They dragged him from her arms, told her he was a spy, told her love was not allowed between conqueror and prey. They executed him and gave her the crown to distract her from grief. Now she stares at the tag in her hands and wonders why the new human wears the same eyes, the same stillness, the same cold fire in his voice. In the lower halls, the human walks alone again. He does not fear the guards. He does not bow to the statues. He walks with purpose, like every step is part of a map only he can see. He enters a forgotten chamber near the edge of the throne wing. The walls are cracked. Dust sleeps on every surface, but something pulls him forward. At the center of the room stands an old carving covered with cloth. He pulls it down, and beneath it a symbol from Earth stares back at him, old, carved in stone, hidden in an alien palace. It is the crest of an old Earth division, one long gone, one erased in the war. His breath stops for a moment, not from fear but from recognition. This should not be here. It could not be here unless someone brought it long ago. He hears a sound, soft steps behind him. He does not turn. He already knows who it is. There, Maid steps into the light, her hands behind her back, her voice soft and careful. You found it. I knew you would. She walks to the wall and touches the carving with respect. This was brought here by the one she loved long before the war, before she was queen, before everything changed. The human's eyes narrow. She, you mean the Empress? The maid nods. She was not always like this. There was a time she smiled, a time she dreamed of peace, but the council turned her into something else. She fought because they demanded it, and when he died she buried everything but her crown. The human turns away from the wall, his mind filled with questions that burn. Why would she allow the war? Why would she break the world? Why would she kill his kind if once she loved one of them? He walks out without speaking, his heart heavy, his fists closed. In the throne room, the Empress waits. She does not wear her crown. She does not carry her staff. She stands as a woman, not a ruler. He enters. Their eyes meet across the marble floor. He throws the symbol at her feet. It slides to a stop just in front of her robes. His voice is not loud, but it cuts deep. Why do you have this? What are you hiding from your own empire? The Empress looks down. She does not pick it up. Her voice is lower than before. He gave it to me long ago, before I knew what it meant to wear power like armor. The human steps closer. You had a choice. You let them burn us. You let them take everything. Her reply comes with a breath of pain. I let them take me too. The silence between them grows thick like fog. The weight of truth is heavier than any crown. She finally kneels, not in defeat, but in memory. He does not speak again. He only watches, and in her face he sees not just a queen, not just an enemy, but someone who once lost. The same way he did. The past does not change, but it rises, and it speaks, and it will not sleep again. Night returns with a sky full of cold stars and a wind that moves like whispers through the empty towers of the Empire. The palace holds its breath as if it knows something is about to break. Guards walk in tighter circles. Doors creak with extra weight. Voices fall silent when footsteps pass. The human sits in a quiet room made of black stone. He sharpens his blade with steady hands. Each motion is slow and silent, like he has done this 1,000 times. In places darker than this he does not speak, but his ears are always listening. His mind never rests. He has learned that peace is often the moment before betrayal. Beyond the walls of the palace, inside a shadowed corridor, 3 royal guards meet in secret, their armor stripped of rank, their eyes filled with rage. One speaks first, low and hard. The Empress bows to a human. Our ancestors burn with shaman. Other speaks sharper. He walks our halls like he owns them. The concubines serve him like he is a king. The third is quiet but deadly. His hand never leaves the hilt of his blade. He nods once. Tonight we end this. They move like snakes through the dark, their steps silent, their faces hidden. Meanwhile, in the private wing of the palace, the Empress walks the long hall alone. No crown, no guards, no silk robes. She thinks of the words the human said. She thinks of the face he wears, so close to the one she lost. Yet sharper, older, stronger. She reaches the training court where the maids now gather. The youngest swings a wooden staff. Another blocks with quiet grace. The third watches with careful eyes. The human has been teaching them not how to serve, but how to survive. The Empress steps into the light. The maids pause. They lower their weapons. They bow, but only slightly. She speaks softly. You are learning fast. The youngest nods. He says, we must not be helpless. Even if we never fight, we must know how to stand. The Empress smiles without showing her teeth. He is right. Too many queens fell because they waited to be saved. The air shifts. Suddenly a sound breaks. The peace, a whisper of steel, a sharp breath. The human steps into the court with blade in hand. His eyes scan the shadows. He moves faster than thought and stops at the far wall. 3 figures stand there, royal guards. Blades drawn, faces cold. The lead one speaks, "We come to restore the crown. The Empress belongs to her people, not to her humans. Mercy." The maids freeze. The Empress steps forward, her voice sharp as a blade. "Lower your weapons, you speak treason." The guards do not move. The youngest one steps in front of the Empress, her staff raised, hands shaking but ready. The human does not speak. He moves. The first guard swings, but the human is already inside the arc. His blade turns, one strike. The guard falls. The second lunges. The Empress pulls the youngest maid back. The human catches the strike with the side of his blade. He twists, elbow shatters, arm and knee strikes. The second guard is down. The third guard tries to run, but the human throws a dagger without looking. It lands in the wall beside his head. The message is clear. That Empress walks forward. She kneels beside the fallen men, not dead, but broken. She looks at them with steel in her eyes. "You shamed your oaths. You forgot who built this empire, and you forgot." The Losh turns to the human. He stands with blade lowered, eyes calm, but the fire inside him burns bright. She speaks again. "You did not kill them." "Why?" He replies, without emotion. "They are not worth your fear, but they are a warning. More will come." She nods. "Yes, the council will not sit quiet forever. They fear change more than deaths." The youngest maid walks to the human. She holds her training staff tightly. "Thank you," she says it without fear, without doubt. The human nods once but says nothing. That night the palace is locked tighter, but the wind still carries whispers. The Empress sits beside the human in a quiet chamber. They do not face each other, but they do not turn away. She speaks first. "When I was young, I believed strength came from fear. Now I see it walks in silence and teaches. Even in pain he listens, but his thoughts are far. He does not trust easily, but he watches the maids now and sees something new in their eyes. Not fear, not duty, but choice." The revolt was small, a spark, but sparks burn if ignored, and now the fire has only just begun. Asterisk. The sky above the empire begins to change. It starts with a sound no ear can hear. A low vibration beneath the clouds, a pulse from the stars. Then come the lights, first 1, then 3, then 100. They fall like silent comets toward the capital. In the palace, the human wakes before anyone else. His eyes open as if something ancient has called him. He steps onto the balcony and looks to the sky. He knows those shapes. He knows those lights. Not enemy, not alien, but home. The Empress enters behind him. She sees the same sky but feels something different. Fear not of war, but of what comes after it. They stand together in silence, watching the ships descend through the clouds like shadows on fire. Then the alarms begin to sound. The palace guards rush through the halls, weapons drawn, eyes wide. The city below stirs in confusion and panic. In the central plaza, the first human dropship lands without shaking the ground. Its legs touch stone-like fingers, finding old soil. The doors open and out walks a figure in black armor. A woman, a general. Her voice carries across the square like a sword in the wind. "We come for our own. We come for the one you took inside the palace." The maids stand frozen. They hear the voice but do not understand the words, only the tone, sharp, clear, final. The human walks to them. They see his face and know what it means. Not anger, not surprise, but choice. The Empress follows him into the hall. Her robes trail behind like a storm. "You called them?" she asks without raising her voice. He shakes his head. "No, but they came because someone must." She stops in front of him. "So you will leave now? Go back to your people, to your war?" He does not answer. Not yet. They reach the outer gates. The human soldiers wait in formation, faces behind helmets. He steps forward and the soldiers salute him without question. The general steps out. She pulls off her helmet. Her face is scarred but strong. Her eyes burn. When she sees him, "You survived. We thought you were lost." He nods. "Once I was lost. Now I am here." She looks past him at the Empress, at the alien stone palace, at the guards who watch but do not move. "Is she your captor, your hostage, your enemy?" He turns to look at the Empress, then looks back at the general. "Shay was all of those. Now she is something else." The general's voice tightens. "You know what this means. Command wants justice. They want blood for what they did to you." Looks down at his hands. They still carry the scars, still remember every lash, every burn, every loss, but he shakes his head. "There is another way, and I will walk it. Even if I walk alone." The general steps closer. "You are not alone. We followed you across galaxies. We burned for you, fought for you." He looks into her eyes and speaks slowly. "Then fight with me, not to destroy, but to rebuild." Behind him, the Empress stands still, but inside her a war of memory rages. The man she once lost, the man who stands before her now. They are not the same, but their hearts speak in the same voice. The general turns to her, then to the palace, then to the sky. She lifts a device and sends a signal. The ships in orbit pull back, the weapons lower. The invasion becomes a landing. That night the palace is lit with torches. Humans and aliens eat in the same halls. They speak through translators, through glances, through music. The first notes of peace are not words but presence. The maids sit beside human officers. They learn new stories. They laugh without fear. The Empress watches from above. She sips bitter wine and speaks quietly to herself. "Once I ruled through power, now I rule through choice, and it terrifies me more." The human walks beside her. He does not sit. He only watches. She looks at him, her voice soft. "You could return, take a fleet, claim revenge." He shakes his head. "I have no interest in thrones, only in futures." She sets the wine down, then speaks again. "Tomorrow the council will gather. They will demand my voice and yours." He nods. "Then We will give it together. The stars above are quiet now, no longer weapons but witnesses, and beneath them old enemies prepare to become something else, not slaves, not rulers, but something in between, something new. The chamber of the High Council is older than the Empire itself. Its walls are made of black crystal, its ceiling rises into shadow, and in the center stands a circle where law becomes command. The Empress walks forward in silence, her robe trimmed with white instead of gold, not as a ruler above all, but as one who comes to answer. Behind her walks the human, not in chains, not in armor, but in plain clothing marked only by dust and flame. He does not bow, he does not kneel, he walks with the weight of two worlds in his steps. Around them sit the council's 7 elders with faces carved by centuries, eyes sharper than blades, tongues ready to strike. They do not rise, they do not smile, they only watch. The oldest speaks, a voice like broken stone. You bring him here as what, a prisoner, a trophy, or a threat? The Empress stands still. Her voice does not tremble. I bring him here as my witness and as my equal. Gasps fill the chamber like shattered glass. One counselor leans forward. You admit defeat. You let our law bind you like a slave, and now you parade the conqueror through our sacred halls. The human raises a hand. His voice is calm but cold. I did not come for parades, I came for justice, and I found memory. Another counselor spits the words. You killed our champion, you shamed our blood, now you walk in our palace as if you belong there. Human steps forward. I did not begin this war, but I ended your illusion of strength, the kind built on fear and silence. The council rises as one, their robes ripple like wings of crows. You speak like a king, but you are still flesh, still outsider, still enemy. The Empress lifts her hand enough. She steps between them, and her voice carries the echo of old storms. He is not your enemy, he is what we tried to bury and what returns stronger than ever. The oldest counselor narrows his eyes. Then what is your proposal? If not surrender, then what? She breathes in once, then speaks. We join, we do not rule, we do not kneel. We share. Silence falls, thick, heavy, unbreathable. Voice breaks it from behind the pillars. It is the youngest of the maids. She steps into the circle, not with fear but with fire. She speaks with eyes wide and voice clear. I was taught to obey, to serve, to kneel, but now I have learned to choose. They look at her. They see no weapon, no title, only truth. The human walks to the center. He looks at the Empress not as a conqueror, but as a mirror. You may choose, not by law, not by force, but by your will. The chamber is still, every eye locked on her. The Empress, who removes the last piece of her crown, she sets it on the floor, then steps forward. I choose not to forget, but to begin again. The council stares in silence. They do not agree, but they do not stop her, because choice once spoken in that sacred circle becomes law. The human nods and turns to the council. Then hear my terms. No more raids, no more slaves, no more slaves, no more silence. Trade, exchange, peace, not a gift, but a promise. The oldest counselor speaks slowly. If you break it, if your people turn again with fire. The human finishes the sentence. Then I will burn with them later. The Empress stands on a balcony above the capital. The sun rises, not red but gold, and for the first time in 1,000 years no drums of war echo across the streets below. Human soldiers speak with alien traders. Children run through markets filled with voices from two worlds. The maids walk freely, no longer marked as property, no longer afraid. Inside the palace, the human stands alone beside a map of stars. His finger traces lines once drawn for war, now redrawn for roads. The Empress enters. She walks without guard, without walls, without lies. They face each other. She lifts her hand slowly, not to command but to offer. He takes it. The stars watch, and for the first time they do not weep. No crowns remain, no chains remain, only choice, and choice is the beginning of everything.